that was causing everything to go haywire. It was causing the transmission to shift weird. It was, so anyway, it seems to be fine right now.
You better buy another extended warranty.
I got about 10,000 miles left on this extended warranty.
All right, I think our difficulties are fixed.
Okay,
Are we good?
all
We
right.
should be good to go.
All right. The illustrious Reed Larson just walked in, and that's our next item of business. Item number 4.
Morning, gentlemen. I apologize. Having trouble printing this morning. This item is related to our new Public Works building. We went out to bid for the building itself, not for the construction. We got 2 responsive bids back, one from Mueller, one from Bunger. These are both really good companies. Bunger's in Phoenix. Mueller, we have a lot of buildings, Mueller buildings here at the county already, including the shop there at the Public Works Yard. The bids are very, very close to each other, which is always encouraging. And we do recommend award to Mueller. They did beat the Bunger bid by a few $1,000s. By 79,889 minus 77,450. Austin will do that math in his head and tell you what the difference is, but it's a little over $2,000.
Yeah.
Is there any questions of?
Oh.
Reed?
No questions at this time from me.
Well, I move that we approve of the award.
Wait,
Oh,
I
sorry.
have a question. So you mentioned that they're gonna erect it too and everything, Reed?
I'm sorry.
We're gonna do all the construction on it?
No, sir. It's similar to the project at the fairgrounds where we'll do what makes sense. And for example, I would imagine that we will build the pad, the dirt pad, the AV pad for the building, but we will hire contractors to do the concrete and erect the building. And then for the whatever they call that on the inside, the trim out on the inside, we've got really good, competent guys. Tony does. They're good at that kind of stuff. It's just a matter of, do they have the time? We'll make that decision down the road a little ways based on their workload. So it'll be a combination of internal forces and contracted work.
Okay.
So just for clarity, this is just for the shell of the
Shell,
building, the
yeah.
metal shell of the building and delivered here to site.
And that includes delivery and everything.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Saw that was 650. Is that the Mueller out of El Paso that
Uh-huh.
bidded on
Yeah.
that?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay,
Well, I move that we approve of the award for the 50 by 100 metal building to serve as the new public works facility in the amount of 77,450 plus taxes and accessories to Mueller.
I second that motion.
motion has been made and second. Is there any further discussion? There are none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it. So
Thank-
ordered.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm gonna go sing to my printer and I'll be back for the work
For the
session.
Work session. We're gonna take a break for about 10 minutes before we go into work session, Reed. Okay, we'll move on to our next item of business, item number 5. Renee, County CFO, and Bianca. Guess the floor is yours, Renee. They're Derek.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is just update you on our revenues, since we didn't have the numbers last board meeting when you were updated on our half-year expenses. So these are 2 of our crucial streams of revenue for building our general fund budget. And we're gonna start off with the state shared sales tax, and for the month of December, we received 474,000.
That's,
And what I'm gonna show you here is where we're at on track. We budgeted 5.5 million, and right now we're 400 grand up. Seems like a big number. It's a good number to see, but it really isn't. So we'll see where that takes us from here. I haven't seen a trend that's we can rely on. So we're gonna keep building conservatively going into this next budget. For our county excise tax, the half cent sales tax. We took a hit there as well, 111,000, that's the lowest of this year. So that puts us at $768 under our projected. Hopefully those numbers will turn around. You don't really see those numbers go that low in the histories.
Well, you know, it's following that, it was just 110 last fiscal year, huh?
Yeah.
At this time.
Yeah.
Something going, everybody's broke from holidays.
That's what I said, like, for our state share, the November, December years, they looked somewhat
Yeah,
like a trend, but
yeah,
can we trust them?
Yeah, I know.
Still not sure from those previous 3 years that set us way ahead.
Yeah, compare that to, you know, the fiscal year average,
yeah.
22 to 24.
Yeah, you look back at those numbers, those were large numbers.
So hopefully we're still waiting on, Derek's still waiting on to hear back about the secure railroad schools funding and if it's in relation to our bill payments. So our budget building it's started.
All right,
Those are just numbers to look out for. I don't know if we need to start looking at trying to stay where we are. Because of these streams, we'll find out later on, though. It's nothing to quite panic about yet.
And just for Will's sake, can you explain those numbers, where those numbers come from?
Our state shared sales tax, that's actually the state tax revenue. And it's distributed to all the counties and cities based on population and then couple of other factors that apply to the formula and our distribution.
And then our half
Our
cent,
half centers is our county, the
Yeah.
county generated sales tax that it gets distributed back to us
So that half
from the
cent,
state.
that's directly for us, where the other one is the big pool.
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
based on your fluctuations in population.
Yeah, that's something to do with a lot of times like our sales tax. It's pretty correlation with the validation up the hill
Mhm.
where that sits. And this is same thing, production kind of based. If production's up, this half cent's usually pretty good. Production's down, then this half cent starts to drop off.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, no problem.
all right.
Sounds winning.
Thank you, Renee. And now we have our clerk of the board. Anka, floor is yours.
And it is catch.
I
like it.
I said that. So we don't have too much going on the rest of the month. Friday, the 24th is LPC meetings begin. And then January 31st, next Friday, another LPC meeting. That's all I have for January. February 4th, our first board meeting, LPC on the 7th. I did put on the calendar just to have it on there. We start our new 4-day work week schedule, February 10th. The 14th is county managers, LPC. President's Day on the 17th, our offices are closed. We do have our board meeting on Wednesday, the 19th, small counties, ECO. And the Health Trust Conference starts on the 19th and it goes to the 21st. CSA on the 20th and LPC and CEGO on the 21st. February 28th is LPC. That's all I have for February. If there's anything else to add.
Bianca, just one thing to add on that is the schedule will take effect on the week of the 10th of February. So the first Friday the county will be closed will be the 14th of Valentine's Day.
Thank you. First through the 4th is the NACO conference. We did push our board meeting back to the 11th. County managers on the 14th, small counties, ECO on the 19th, CSA on the 20th. And then our second board meeting in March is the 25th. And that's all I have for March. Nothing to add.
Anybody have anything that they want to add to this calendar?
Not now.
No, sir.
All right, thank you, Bianca. All right, we'll move into our next item of business, consent agenda. Entertain for motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as listed.
I second that motion.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay, we'll go into supervisor reports. Supervisor Campbell,
Nothing for me for this meeting.
Supervisor Warren,
I just wanted to highlight that last Monday, Wednesday and Thursday of last week, I was able to attend the County Supervisors Association new supervisor orientation. It was very helpful, learned a lot and looking forward to learning more, but it was a great opportunity to start building a foundation and looking forward to the future. So I'd like to thank everybody who helped make that possible and the County Supervisors Association.
Did you attend that legislative reception as well?
Yes, attended the legislative reception, which was very well attended. From the feedback I received, the attendance was much better than last year.
Mhm.
And I know that they had their share of new people there from the recent elections that took place. So that was great. Got to meet the Speaker of the House and Speaker of the Senate. They were also there. So very fruitful. Got to make a lot of connections and learn a lot, still have a lot to learn, but great experience. That's my updates for today.
okay, great. Well, I just have one item that I just want to mention, that our lawsuit that we were going through for the last several years is over and dead. It's done. So,
Yes.
and I will not elaborate any further, so thank you. All right, that's all I have. Well, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't take a break. It's only 8:18.
And he's here. You never know when he might vanish.
Yeah, go ahead.
5 minutes.
He wants a 5-minute break.
5 minute break.
Okay,
or 5 minutes
5 minute
to go
break,
through,
okay.
5 minute break.
All right, well, we'll take a 5 minute break before we go into item number 8.
It's golden. It's
Okay,
bad.
we're going into
very
item eight, work session, state land sites for potential housing development at the Whitehaven local limit. And Reed has Matt over here with. We'd like to share, this is just a work session to decide. Get everybody's input on where we're at, we possibly wanna. Create a conceptual map of where we can put housing surrounding this park here.
What's the blue line?
We're at in town.
Right.
So originally, it's hard to see, but there's a blue square right here. And that, when we first sent it to state land, we just picked 9 40-acre parcels that make this square, so it's 340s, 340s, and 340s. We already own a 10-acre parcel that's kind of a little island in the middle of state land, but it's state land all around it over to here, over to the Loma Linda subdivision. But talking to Derek and talking to state land department, they encouraged us not to apply for more land than we're reasonably going to develop in a reasonable amount of time. So they don't want us just going and saying, blah, we want the whole world out there, and then we'll cherry pick where we build houses. They want us to be more selective. What is in opposition to that is they don't like odd shaped tracts of land. They'll sell those, but they would prefer that they're nice, even chunks of land. So those two schools of thought are at odds with each other a little bit, but nevertheless, on instruction from Derek and Chairman Gomez, I just tried to dial this in a little bit more, not and put a ton of effort into it. So you don't necessarily want to be held to these lines, but I'm glad Gary's here because when Derek's not here with his lawyer hat on, trying to get a little loosey-goosey. And
Make any decisions.
The work session.
I'm gonna make some recommendations. I'll ask you to take your attorney hat off too. No, I'm only kidding.
so that's why I made one of these for Gary specifically, and so he can. So parcel 1, these just kind of go clockwise. Is
I didn't see any purple on there, but I see. it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is our park, which is getting a lot of improvements at this moment in time, completely redid. New shade structure over the picnic tables. But you can see one of the issues, there's a very well-defined drainage right there that dumps into that. This is Loma Linda wash right here. And so that's a physical feature that we would have to dance around or deal with on parcel 1. But parcel 1 has an area of 8.5 acres. And this is me wearing my engineering hat in a similar manner that Derek wears his attorney hat, but I personally don't like to see parcels smaller than 3/4 of an acre when on-site disposal is involved. So as you look at that last column on that table there, the number of lots that you see is based on just 3/4 of an 3/4 acre.
Buildable areas.
Yeah. So parcel 1 is about 8.5 acres. Parcel 2.
This parcel.
Yeah, so I got that one colored wrong. Yep.
You mind if I put like,
No, right all over that. I got my printer fixed. I could print a million copies of that.
it's 3?
Yep.
It just helps spell it down for me.
4.
This is 4.
And this B1 bomber is the.
Oh, four looks orange. It's not orange. It's this one here?
Yeah, it's that one.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. This is Excel and this is AutoCAD, so
Thank you. That helps me.
See, and this, and as you well know, this is Loma Linda right here as you drive in from Skyline into Calle. Alta Vista. All this area here is flat. All
Is
this
it all
area
flat?
here
That's
is
what I was
flat.
wondering.
All this area here is flat. All this area here is all flat. And this is all flat across from that highway too. You know, and Reed has mentioned before, one of our projects is to straighten out this, there's a bridge over here, a real narrow bridge over here,
right there.
right there. And we're proposing to shoot that straight through there and utilize that bridge for kids from Birdie Lee to come and walking path through there across that bridge to get over to this park. Which is another.
All these portions you mentioned earlier, that the state doesn't like to break up the pieces, so
I
that
guess it
these
would
would be
go-
conducive to what the state's looking for, right?
Well, I should have drawn that in there, but if you took three, if you divided this into thirds this way and thirds this way, those would be the 40-acre chunks. And so like if you decided to focus on 2 and 3, for example, it would make sense that we just take this 40-acre chunk from.
Yeah,
State Land.
1, 2, and 3.
Except for the island in the middle that we already own. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe we get a little bit of one.
But if we didn't go after that 40-acre chunk, we would leave a tail of 3 that we wouldn't end up purchasing. So you'll just have to make that decision in conjunction with State Land Department. And see how resistant they would be to. Because they're gonna require an ALPA survey, a very rigorous high-end land survey anyway. And so in theory, you can define any area that you want to and apply for purchase on that area.
So is it likely that we would, or my head's at, go, ask for 2 and 3, because this seems to be the best, the best around that park, you know what I mean, where I know there's no utilities or no water, all that stuff,
Water goes from here down to the park.
yeah.
Southwest Gas comes with natural gas all the way through here into
Okay.
the subdivision.
So that seems to me like it would, but would we ask, what would our ask be? Would our ask be for these areas, or would it be for that whole block?
Preliminarily, I would say ask for the whole 40. And they would appreciate that because right now we have that island in the middle of that 40 and us taking that 40 from them would clean up that island.
And this blue line, this faint blue line. So this would be
Yeah.
like where my hand at, that would be
Yeah.
the 40. But it might cut off
Yeah,
some of this wish, right?
yeah, I'll take a stab at it. It's gonna be something like that and it's gonna go a third of the way down there. So it's like, it'll match those houses right there. Cause that's probably,
Blue line, section 1.
yes.
Yeah.
So something like that. So
Certainly, that'd be my preference.
you'd get what I'd call garbage areas or low value areas in it. And like I drew this line out to here, and when you say flat, I would say I'd use the term flat enough.
Yeah.
Buildable, yeah.
Not entirely flat, like this is gonna start sloping off toward the wash, but the idea was here of this exercise was to identify areas where you wouldn't have to go mass scrape the site.
Yeah.
To create a sub, do a bunch of earthwork.
And where is this other 40 over here?
Just if we just,
It goes across, but
Yeah.
continues from there to a square.
yeah, something like that. And then it'd come up like
That'd be in
that.
this 40.
Yeah, these aren't gonna be exact. In fact,
Man, this is prime right here too.
I slided the west side here, but you get the idea. So there's 9 40-acre squares.
how much is too much to ask for? You know what I mean? Like, you know, it seems to be, 2 and 3, are right close to other homes, you know what I mean, where you, and it seems like buildable land. There's known water, we know there's known gas, we know there's, power, et cetera. I mean, if we asked for that, and then you say that this is prime, because that is just flat, right? For a track, but could this be the 5-year plan, this be the 10-year plan, or, whatever that is?
Yeah. Whatever you decide, I would just caution you that we haven't pushed at all state land at the landfill. And so they've been cruising along at their pace, but we're 2 years into that. And so,
For the landfill expansion.
yeah.
Would we expand this way?
No.
No, it's
it's
just
all
the south.
But it's a process is what we should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might
If
be,
we start on this, we're probably 3 years out before it even.
well, that's a good point. That's a good point that Reed brings up because we've dealt with them so many times when we have to expand and we started way in advance so that we don't get caught, not having an area to
That's-
dump,
yeah.
yeah, and build that new cell. So with that said, but the dire need for housing here, in my opinion, with some of the folks that we're dealing with right now, I think it could run a little quicker, but that's just me.
Yeah,
So what do you rank it? Just curious, David, you're very familiar with that area. As far as your thought, how would you rank those lots, just, based on here, for the possibility of housing?
Growth there.
Yeah.
Well, this for sure, because everything is here, as you brought up, and I mentioned that natural gas goes through there, water comes down to here. I've met with the state manager of Cactus LLC that bought the water company here and the water company in Bertie Lee, and he's given me a letter of intent to service this area if we develop it. And what he's trying to do is the possibility of combining both of these water systems, because they're separated, right? There was a different owner here and a different owner purchased it. But with that said, for sure this area here, for sure this, and I hate to let this go by because this is all nice and flat over here and very, very developable, so.
Is there an issue? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Is there an issue of saying, okay, our first preference is this?
Yeah,
And this, and ask for both and maybe just settle for that for now, or?
well, I guess we could have that serious conversation with them because as Reed mentioned, yeah, they don't want us to land bank. That's
Right.
basically what they don't want us to do is to overbuy and just let that
They
land
want to see it
sit
go,
there. Yeah, so with that said, yeah, this could be phase 1 and this could be phase 2, and we could
And
introduce
we
it
can
that
work
way.
Prove it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? There.
yeah. And what I always thought of over here somewhere too is I know that the 3-way is not far from the public works and the transportation guys over there, the roads crews and everything, but they could always have, we could develop a small little yard some here with a piece of this land over here, so where they could park trucks, because when they're working on the roads and everything, they're having to haul everything all back over to the yard over there and stuff, and I don't know, it'd be kind of be a
Kind
plus.
of like the ADOT yards that they have,
Yeah.
sprinkled up and down the highway.
Yeah, I think that'd be very beneficial and stuff, so I don't know, it's just,
they don't want us to land bank, that's true. My counter to that would be just, it does take so long, and if you flip to the next page. This shows you where we're at with the landfill expansion. So we're gonna be about 30 grand into that, plus the actual cost of the dirt, which is 900 an acre, it's about $82,000. But if you just go down that real fast, a lot of those tasks and fees that you see, they're kind of fixed. And if we can go through the brain damage of an acquisition here just one time rather than phases, I would vote for just one time. And they don't want us to land bank, but if with this is phase one and this is phase two, to my knowledge, there's no downside to the county acquiring land from, say, land department and
With the plan.
not putting it to use immediately. That's
Yeah.
what we're gonna do at the landfill. I don't think that state land department pays us property taxes, do they? So,
Goes to education.
and we won't pay ourselves property taxes, that would be nonsensical, but us owning that land and just sitting on it, I just don't see any downsides to that.
You know, and looking way ahead, the way state land works is that all these fees and everything that whoever makes the application and starts the process to the end, isn't guaranteed that they're gonna end up with this property because it goes up for auction. But if somebody were to come and outbid, because they're gonna go for highest bid, that individual has to pay whoever paid to do it initially.
And hopefully they're buying it
So-
to build homes.
Well, and see, and that's the big deal. That's, you know, and that's one of the things that Derek mentioned in our last meeting, that he wants us to start entertaining this idea to developers that are really gonna be serious to come in here and bid on this property, get it developed. So with that said, you know,
So we're kind of getting the ball rolling.
exactly, because or else it's never
We're
gonna
making
get done.
Step in toward the auction phase.
Yes, yeah, or else it's never gonna happen. And what I see in this area, possibly over here, is that I'm also looking into, we've talked a little bit about housing authority. Remember we brought up housing authority? Well, I reached out to my colleague in Yuma County, where Reed and I went over there to meet with them long time ago to see what they had as far as housing authority. And Yuma actually owns property and has multifamily units and everything that Yuma County owns. And, you know, and Derek always says that, well, the county can't own blah, blah, blah. Well, it's happening over there in Yuma County. And I called my colleague over there, Supervisor Porchas, and he already turned me, and I got an email yesterday, he turned me on. Remember Ian McGahee, that was the, okay, he's there now, county administrator, right? And Ian got on the email and he's having a gentleman from Yuma County give me a call, and we're gonna have a little conversation, and I want to get Reed involved in that call on this housing authority. And, you know, with the possibility of building some multifamily situations here, multifamily, and in my opinion, I can't see why the county wouldn't wanna own these. I know they could be a headache, but you know what? It's progress. I mean, there's so many people that are homeless right now, working at this mine, having a hard time finding a place to live. And then the mine dishing out $750 a month for somebody to go live somewhere here nearby or wherever, you know, it's gonna kind of resolve that problem there. But anyway, I'm just thinking way ahead and just throwing out food for thought.
So this square and this square, I mean, would they consider that adjacent? I mean, they're touching the corner.
That was my question. Is that continuous? Is that
Or what- and
okay?
you could do this, right? Because there's a lot of land right here.
Mhm.
That'd be like 128.
Yeah, I mean, but this right here is, I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
what this
useless,
is
but
like.
This is pretty.
Yeah.
When this road drops off right over here, it's all flat down here too. But it doesn't look that way here, but that road, when you come down here, we're not going down this far. We're sticking, you know,
But
I would recommend we
and
stick up to the
they'd
top.
let you take,
Yeah.
the west half of that, for example. They're not draconian
How
about it.
close can you get to this without it?
Legally, you can get close to it from
From a homeowner point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
But if you have 40
You
years.
stay
you
this
can-
yeah. yeah, that's a waste.
I do think you're interested in niche. I'll discuss this, I think, probably the basis. Is again, like David's talking about, is working with the developer, because I do think, you know, seeing what's acceptable for them, right? If the county wants to bite off one, and the developer says, I'm only interested in 40, you know, that can cause us some problems. You know, if that's the intent, right, to get the ball rolling. If we're looking to own and develop it, then I think it doesn't matter. Right? But I do think it's one of those, you know, that's a big investment on 120 acres versus, you know, 40 or 30 for, you know, for a developer.
And we're not just singling out one developer.
No, by no
You
means.
know,
I think
I
we
mean,
wanna look at
there's,
that.
yeah, and there's here to share, even local for some of the local folks that are
For sure.
building right now around the area. Coming out of Safford and, you know, we got Tim Williams over here and stuff, and I think, you know, they would
But I
purchase.
It's gonna be a 3 to 5 year project to get to the auction point.
If we started now, I would say a year and a half. If we started and push them and just,
And that pushing is a vague term. Pushing could be a year and a half, or pushing could be 2 years, 2.5 years, right?
well. the
We
only
don't know
thing
that
I'll say
exact
to that
time. We
is
don't know that exact time.
Your predecessors on the board developed a really, really good relationship with the new commissioner. And they nurtured that. And Supervisor Gomez had a meeting with some of her senior staff later this afternoon. And again, on the landfill, we never push, we don't need to,
Yeah,
but if Supervisor Gomez.
So Supervisor Gomez could continue to nurture that relationship.
And he could check on the progress, if we have an application in with them that is time sensitive, they'll move faster, I believe, because of your relationship with.
I think right around that park, I think is like, I think our best. You know, our best small bite, I mean, you know, smaller bite, but I think. Everything seems to line up to where we could. Where we could build easily there, I mean, the infrastructure and all is there. Then obviously this is a great acquisition for, you know, another phase. If we could pull that to where we can get half of that section or half of that.
I think around the park would be more conducive to other developers bidding on it.
We'll have to put in the green belt, it's already there, right?
well, I've brought developers in that also, you know, have, of course, they.
I'm sure
just
they're
like
looking
you're saying,
too at the-
And they looked at this and said, oh my God, you know, that's. pretty-
Probably because of the
Yeah.
prep cost.
Yeah.
Being flat. Well,
Yeah, and good access, 2 different areas, you see
Right off the road.
gas station on the corner over there. The Y gas station.
So.
Why are we spelling Y? WYE. What? I mean, you know, that's a new way.
I think that was Derek that created it. It's. I've always. Just a why, you know, like Yellowstone.
Right, Supervisor Campbell, we call it whatever.
I'm just wondering if that was the real name or, you know.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what it's, I see, I hadn't seen
Yeah,
that.
it's
with
not
the
WHY, not WY or just a Y, but it's a Y. WY. Anyway.
Well, if Derek were here, he would say we should call it the YWHY.
Yeah, why are we doing this? Yeah.
But I just add for you gentlemen that using that exhibit, I focused on the where, you know, just talk about the why. We talked a lot about the where. I wish Derek was here for this work session because really the more important discussion than the where is probably the how. And that's what our administrator is interested in. We to some agreement on. And at what point does the county pass the baton to developer, if ever? I mean, as Supervisor Gomez said, you take it all the way where you build and own and operate multi-family housing.
I think we're gonna know a lot at the auction phase.
That's what I wanna get to, the auction.
I think the auction phase is
And
gonna
I
be our
would put
big
on a
step.
developer to do that, but I wanna place us into a position to where if a developer doesn't, then we could.
That's the
Let-
big question right there.
Yeah.
So Derek has vocalized, it would be great if we got outbid by developers.
Yes.
Who had good intentions to come in.
I don't know what David thinks, but I think that'd be the perfect world, right? We go through this, the developer purchases it
Yep.
and gets going with it.
And we root them on.
That would be to me, the best case scenario.
I don't
You have that
disagree.
knowledge from the developer, you didn't know how to build, didn't know how to do all that. We'd get them to that point. I think that would be ideal.
But I would also say that if it gets to the auction phase, that it gets sold. You know,
Yeah.
whether that's to a developer or whether that's to the county. So,
And if we get there and there's just crickets, then that's gonna be our. But that's gonna be our cue.
Yeah.
That we purchase it.
so we need to be in that position.
We need to be ready for that.
But if we can get it to auction and then we stimulate that and advertise.
So I think what Reed's asking too, what are we gonna ask for them? 1, 2, 3, and
That
5.
section, and half of that section.
Now, do you guys, and just as a side note, section, but like I mentioned earlier, is there interest, as we're working through state land, that we want to contact, developers we can get a hold of to see their input, because they may say, absolutely not with this one, right, but this is a great one. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what they have to say, right, if they're the ones that, sometime down the road will be looking to purchase it, and if they say, 5 is out, I don't want it, but I'm willing to jump on these, right?
Yeah, we just wanna get to that point to where
Right there.
that.
Yeah.
That, the area that is identified goes to auction.
That's 100 acres exactly, well, plus or minus, but.
I think in real
minus
terms,
the 10 for the.
100 acres isn't. Gonna be considered trying to bank land. 100 acres is minimal.
No, especially if you look at those densities, 100 acres is gonna buy you. Not a ton of lot.
Usually quarter acre lots.
By about 125 lots.
In amount of space, don't know how much to handle.
3/4 acres.
Is the archaeological survey gonna cost more if you go for a bigger check?
Yeah, well, but you're gonna enjoy. If we buy it all at once, you don't have to do 2 separate archaeological studies, one on one.
It's constitutional.
If you draw a contiguous parcel, do they get auctioned out contiguously, or can we split it into 2 and have people bid on the 2?
I don't know, I think they're gonna tell you. You're looking at 2 separate applications.
I think 100 acres is, I don't even know. For a housing development, I think 100 acres is minimal. Isn't it?
No. If you,
I guess down in Surprise, Arizona, that would be a different comparison to Graham County.
Yeah.
So there's
10
no
acre lot.
closed sewer system there, there's no.
It's all.
That's why it's all septic, right?
3/4 acre lots.
you have a sewage collection system, the developers will. They'll develop even just a few.
Yes.
Well, maybe that's part of the
Expensive.
grand development plan that, maybe a developer put in their own.
Well, this-
Whatever.
So this parcel 5, it starts to drop this direction and you could put a little package plant. Down at the low end of it,
Mhm.
and then you could sewer to that package plant. ADQ prefer that. They always prefer.
Then all with septics, right, then 125 septic.
But
And we'll have that discussion with these developers to see if they're interested in.
And this is my ignorance, but are there multi-home septics, like to where you could, where you could do like, this lot of 10 homes or whatever has one septic or something, yeah. That would make sense on a development side as well, cause then your parcel, your home lot size shrinks. Right, to maybe quarter acre lots or whatever.
Just like we shared both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, those are all ideas that developer, that they
Yeah.
would put that in, because they want more bang for their buck. They
Yeah, for
wouldn't
sure.
want
More,
three-quarter
the
lots.
density
Septic
is gonna help them, right? More
Yeah.
density makes them more money to.
And you put in a $100,000, septic system that would support 10 homes, so you could do 10 homes instead of 5, would make it money.
Yeah, so the problem with a big package plant that serves a bunch of area, that's a front loaded cost for the developer. And if you add up the cost of individual septic systems, those are gonna be greater than a package plant, but those they get to defer that cost out, and that happens after when the builder's building the house.
Well, like in Alpine, I mean, I know when they had that, they had their septic system, but anytime you wanted to build a home, I mean, it was $5,000 just to hook up to, you know what I mean? And so they were getting that money back, right off the bat. And that might be the same thing a developer would do.
Yeah.
To recoup that.
Curious after. If they're development.
And maybe it is a Green County thing, But those are all,
That's way down the road.
that's down the road, but
Well, there's two developers that I've, and Reed's aware of it, that I've been working with here recently that are very interested in this property here to develop. And, I got a call from a gentleman actually yesterday, that went through the process but never went up for auction. Him and his partner back in 2017. Not for some reason, they had included areas across this wash over in this area over here. I guess maybe they were thinking that people would want to build it up on the hillside and stuff over here. But anyway, those two gentlemen have split the sheets and are not together anymore. But the one that called me yesterday has hooked up with some lady that's got money that's interested in coming to Greenleaf. And we're gonna set up, they're either gonna come up and visit, or I'm gonna meet him down in Tucson. And after we put some maps together and stuff, so yeah, he's an architect and he's never lost the interest on it. He's been keeping in touch with me ever since him and his buddy split up, and it never happened and never went to auction. So it lost, all the information that they did, and actually per acre on that process that they did, the price from state land was $1,600 an acre.
you're estimating 900.
That's what the landfill is.
Land-
Oh,
That still was, and that's more
Probably
than an
decent.
estimate, that's actually the appraisal.
Okay.
Well, that's the amount the auction would start at.
I'm gonna guess that the appraisal of that area, I mean, I would see that might be the same, but that section over there, that parcel would probably be more. I mean, appraise it more because there's more infrastructure around there for the home, adjacent to a park in the middle. It's owned by the county.
Yeah, I'd guess $2,000.
$2,000 is what I would feel.
That's the way they go with that.
Yeah. So that's really reasonable compared to what you're paying over in Graham County. They're selling lots over there for $60,000.
I know.
I'm not sure how they do it.
And people are paying it. So, yeah.
Well, I like this. I mean, at least I think personally, I think we have a suggested area that we can go ask for now.
Yeah. And if we don't start the process, it's never gonna get done. That's why I asked Derek to put it on the agenda after the conversation we had last meeting.
I
Better
think-
get this ball rolling.
I think on the agenda for the next meeting, be our approval as a board, outside of a work session, to go after those areas, right? I mean, if it has, or if we proceed with state lands making that request and all that entails.
What I'd like to do too is, in today's state land meeting that I have at 1:00, I'd like to kind of, at the end of the meeting of what we're gonna discuss initially, just kind of bring them aware of this and see what they say.
So the whole thing was 360. This is 100 minus 10 is 90. And so Bruce will probably, Ruben, I don't know. We just need to get their thoughts more on, do they like it squared off the way it's been drawn?
Or a little bigger. A little smaller, whatever.
I mean, if they make us, you know, take this one all the way to here, is what it is.
Yeah, they may want to.
Or could you get creative and take a little chunk here?
Yeah, and see, and yeah, and cause this is all flat also.
Someone
on
we
this
only
side.
want flat.
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice to just get off that one, maybe down that wash, because if not, nothing's gonna happen with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Same right here.
Yeah,
Follow that road thing, or that blue line.
Mhm.
I like the way you guys. Oh, no, we've had this discussion. And we've also, for your information, the gentleman from, Cactus, was he the one that encouraged us to hire a hydrologist? Yeah, and we did, and, actually Reed has a report on that. A hydrologist that came into the area throughout Greeley County, did he go south too, or did he just?
No,
stick to this
it was
area?
just this area kind of from 78 north, east of 191, so this area right here. He and Derek have had trouble syncing their schedules since about late 2024. But we're trying again to get them together, and they'll give us a report, an oral report on, to summarize it.
On, just in case, some other wells need to be drilled and where there is water, and so that we don't go through the situation we did over at Tyler's where there was an abundance of water and the land was
Just can't
flat.
use it.
Yeah, but it belongs to somebody else, but anyway. So that's why we've gone through that step also. And so that's what it is. Anybody have any other questions?
No.
Comments?
So we'll have a summarization next meeting, possibly alone.
I think, yeah, I would like
Maybe
to.
I'll have the discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, after you meet with us, state, a little bit more insight on what they may give you some things, say do this or don't do this.
Are you at a good point, Reed, to go to the state and did we give you enough answers today in our work session? Or do you have any more questions, I guess?
No, I don't. The application process is, how do I say it? It's onerous, but it's also easy. Pretty painless. There's just a lot to do. So when you decide what you want to go after, I can jump into that. That's fun.
Well, I think after the meeting today and, getting that on an agenda item, so that we're all on the same page and we can vote on that, then that would be your, go with it.
I think what we might do between today's meeting and the next meeting is, when we talk to state land today, just kind of give them a dog and pony show on what we're planning. And then maybe going down there and personally meeting with them in person and share our interests on what we're trying to accomplish here. I think they'd be really receptive to.
Yeah, however you think.
And then also with any luck, Derek and I will probably be visiting with that hydrogeologist.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Reed.
I'll get that. Okay.
There isn't anything else to discuss. This meeting's adjourned.
Awesome.
Thank you, James.
Yeah.